Good morning, esteemed speakers, guests, trainers, teachers, and students. Welcome to the Swift Innovators Summit 2021. I'm Nicole.
And I am Akshara. We will be your MCs for today. Before we start our session proper, I'd just like to thank everyone for taking precious time off from their Saturday morning and tuning in to us. Without further ado, to kickstart our summit, we'd like to turn the time over to our guest of honor, Ms. Colina, Assistant Chief Executive of IMDA, to give us the welcome address for today.
Boys and girls, parents, teachers, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to join you today for the Swift Innovators Summit 2021. First, I'd like to express my appreciation to our partners at Apple for your strong partnership and support, as well as to the students who planned and prepared for the entire summit and today's event and made it your event. Today, we witnessed the graduation of the third cohort of the Swift Accelerator program, 51 students from 7 schools across Singapore. Congratulations to our students, boys and girls. All of you have successfully completed a very intensive 180-hour training program over 9 months. I'm sure it took lots of dedication and passion for you to have come this far, especially with the many adjustments that we've had to make to the program last year because of COVID. Through the program, you have had the opportunity to develop and grow your passion for coding and making with many hours of collaboration, problem solving, and creative solutioning with your teammates. We hope that this has provided you with a glimpse of the industry, the innovation, the skills, and the creativity that come together in the tech sector. Today, you will join 100 of your seniors in 2 previous cohorts who have successfully completed the program. This is just the beginning of what will be a very fruitful journey for you to pursue your passion in technology in this digital age. I've had the opportunity to look at many of the apps that you have created, and basically there are 3 categories of apps, right? Of course, as Singaporeans, there were many about food and recipes. There were also some about health and exercise, and of course for the parents, there were also some apps that were around how to make studying fun. And when we look at what you have created, it is obvious that what you have done is to try to use technology to solve many of the problems that we face in our daily lives today and to try to make lives better, more enjoyable, and more fun. In fact, my 2 children are still using one of the apps that I downloaded during the first cohort of this Swift Accelerator program, teaching them how to brush their teeth properly. And it has been very useful for us. I'm sure that many of the apps that you created will also be useful for the people around you. Indeed, this is a strong reminder to all of us that technology itself is not the end, right? It is the means to make the things around us better. And through technology, we can help to increase the quality of life, to support the vulnerable, and to make many, many contributions to society. In the past year, we have seen many, many examples of how technology has helped during this COVID period. Right? Almost 1 year ago, Mr. Nigel Teo, a tech entrepreneur, created a website for people to express their appreciation to our frontline workers. A simple gesture using technology to bring communities together. He did not stop there, but went on to launch the mobile app for neighbors to share items and services, right, with the rest of their community. And the motivation behind the app was really this kampong spirit, this sense of using technology to build community. Besides Mr. Teo, we have seen many rise to the cause with their knowledge of technology and digital skills. We have seen many volunteers step forward to teach our seniors how to use digital technology, to use Zoom, to use video calls to connect with their families and their friends during the COVID period as part of our senior school digital program. We have also seen many websites coming up helping our hawkers to use food delivery to continue their business during the circuit breaker. These are just a few examples of how we are using technology for good. And to the boys and girls who have graduated from the program, with your passion and skills, I'm sure many of you will continue to achieve much in your studies and in your career ahead. And as you do, and as you think back to this Swift Accelerator program, I hope that you will continue to be inspired towards this cause of using tech for good. I wish you all a very successful future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Cole. I'm sure some of you may be keen to find out a little more about what Swift Accelerator is and what's been happening in these 8 months of coding. So, Nicole, how about sharing a little more?
The Swift Accelerator program targets secondary school students, like us, who are interested in coding but could not find the support or guidance we needed at school to take this passion to the next level.
Yes, and this program helped many students uncover their potential for coding. We were given space to grow and develop too.
It was taught in Swift and gave us opportunities to gain insights into the iOS app development process. Let's watch this video now to find out more.
One word to describe SAP is discovery.
Inclusive.
Eye-opening.
Engaging.
Wow.
Unique.
Engaging.
Roller coaster like.
Eye-opening.
Intriguing.
It's actually quite fun.
So once again, I'm YJ. Alright, I'm your instructor for this course. Feng Run will be joining us at some point.
My biggest takeaway was the entire experience because all in all it was an amazing course and I enjoyed every lesson, and it was definitely a unique and valuable experience that we can all treasure, like whether it was the coding or something else that we enjoyed the most.
My biggest takeaway from Swift Accelerator besides learning Swift was learning video editing with iMovie when making the promotional video for my app. I have not tried it before and found that it was interesting and fun for me to make my own video.
Learning how to manage a whole project because everything must be well done and up to standard because it's gonna be released to the global public. So I have to manage everything well and not leave out small gaps.
Patience. Yeah, I definitely grown a lot more patient as I navigated this program. And the good thing is both these values can definitely come in handy in real life. Yeah.
For me, my most memorable moment was when we made our first clicker app. Honestly, when I look back on it right now, it doesn't seem like a great deal. But it was my first and most of my friends' first app. And it is meaningful to know that we are capable of creating an app, however simple. So this clicker app actually instilled a lot of confidence in me, and it drove me to try my best in everything throughout the entire course, and while making other apps and our own apps.
When we went to the office and then we got to meet our group mates and the alumni and YJ and Feng Yun in person.
We came to the office and then we were brainstorming.
Meeting with my group mates in person for the first time was a nice experience.
The most memorable moment I would say is actually YJ and his silly explanations.
I need to attend this formal event, okay, but I don't want to go, right? Formal events you have to follow some rules, right? You have to dress up, right? Rent a tuxedo or a suit or something like that, okay? And you have to, be very stiff-lipped and serious. I can't do that, right? Can't be serious for too long, okay? So I don't want to do that. I hate dressing up. I'll get my cat to go, okay? My cat is my delegate, okay? So in order to protect my reputation, I must give my cat a set of rules, right? The cat must be like, okay, well, when you go for this, you need to wear a tuxedo, alright? You need to, make sure you talk to people in proper English. Don't use any Singlish. Okay. Yeah, just be polite to people, right? Don't bite anyone and stuff like that. Okay, so those are the rules that I define. Those are the protocols I define for my delegate. Okay, so I hope that example kind of makes sense.
So that kind of explanations make the whole course, enjoyable and a funny experience, but which allows us to actually understand what he says.
When my app got published, we've been on it for so long, and when we finally finished, it was a relief.
I feel like just believe in yourselves. Don't think that you're unable to do it. You can achieve great things if you believe in yourself. Like for me, I didn't think I was able to do a circular progress ring, but yes, I just did it because I believe that I can do it. Yeah, the biggest thing is just to believe in yourself.
This is what the students in the Swift Accelerator program, class of 2020, have been doing this year during the program.
Wow, wasn't that an interesting video? I'm sure we're all interested to learn more about app development now. Next up, we're excited to invite some amazing student developers to share more on their coding journey in the fireside chat. Today, we have with us 3 speakers who have all accomplished much in the field of coding and iOS app development. We are deeply honored to have them here with us today to share about their coding journey.
We have Porjai Rangtri, who won the Swift Student Challenge at WWDC 20 because of her app for people with communication disabilities to reach out for help during emergencies. We also have Yuma Sorianto, who is the youngest winner of WWDC 17 and has a YouTube channel called Anyone Can Code. Last but not least, our final speaker is Yi Jiachen from the Swift Accelerator program class of 2018, who is one of the WWDC 20 Swift Student Challenge winners. He has also published 3 apps on the App Store.
This session is powered by Pigeonhole Live, a versatile and useful audience interaction tool for virtual and in-person events and meetings. At any point in time, please feel free to head down to this Pigeonhole Live QR code to enter or upvote any questions you may have for our panelists.
So Porjai, can you share with us about your favorite app and your coding journey?
Okay, first, my name is Porjai Rangsi. I'm come from Thailand, Chiang Mai, Thailand. I started writing a computer program by starting to be interested to control the light bulb in the circuit in the third gate. After that, I began to practice programming and started to write Swift, C, Java, Python, and other language. As a beginner, until building the application and website, I have created a total of 4 applications and 1 website. Last year, I created an application named Happier, which I want the students with challenge and get an opportunity to meet special event with Lisa Jackson and Tim Cooks. Okay, so my application is called Happier, which is I made to help disabled people to communicate with other people faster in case of an emergency. My inspiration for making this application is when I went to a store and the line for the cashier was too long to wait, so I felt really annoyed. But finally, when it's my turn, I found out that the cashier was a deaf. This made me think that what they do when they get problems. If something bad happens to disabled people, they can't really ask for help easily, and it will be too late to get assistance. How can we help them? So from this problem, it made me think that what if we just use something to communicate with other people faster. So I think that is a phone so that everyone can live in and society and have a better quality of life. For my application, I create the icon has 4 colors explained for main situation in case of an emergency. The red one is signify emergency, the yellow one is crime, the green one is code department, and the blue one is illness. And I have designed the symbol to be easy to understand and can be used quickly because there are some disabled people that are unable to read the text. So this is my app. There are 4 main features in the app. First feature for asking for help from people around the user. If the user click on the picture that they want for help, then application will call it out aloud. So people will understand and be able to help the user. For the second feature, we collect data from the first feature to be an evidence for reporting with the police. The third feature will be the feature for contacting the department nearby. The app will provide the route and yes. And they can call the department too. And also can send a message what user need for help. In case such as being rapid, if the user want to cancel, just press the red button below. At here. And the last feature is profile of personal information to be information like when a user gets lost or unconscious. So thank you for watching. Back to MC.
Wow, thank you, Porjai. What an inspiring story. Your app would definitely be helpful to many people, wouldn't it?
Yes. And Porjai shows us how coding can help the community stay connected in real life as well.
You're up, Yuma. Please, tell us more about your app and your coding experience.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be speaking here again. My name is Yuma Suryanto, and it was great to see your app, Porjai. I agree with the MCs because I think it has the potential to save so many lives. I've also seen your app a few years ago, Jiachen. I can't wait to see how much your app has changed since the first time I saw it. Anyways, I am an iOS app developer, as you heard from earlier. I started coding when I was 6 years old. I started off with making websites, then I went on to make apps. And during my journey, I've been self-taught with coding. And in the years of my coding journey, I have had some awesome experiences. I am a 4-time WWDC scholarship winner, and I was the youngest in 2017, where I got to meet the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook. I also have my own YouTube channel, Innovators Code, where I almost have 13,000 subscribers worldwide learning from me. And it's just amazing to see so many aspiring coders who have so much interest in coding. Anyways, I speak internationally, where I share my passion and teach others at coding workshops, including the first Swift Innovators Summit here in 2018. And yes, I did speak here about 3 years ago for the class of 2018 graduation. I also went to world conferences like World Youth Forum in Egypt, where I was awarded by the President of Egypt. Anyways, onto my app. I have made 10 apps on the App Store, so I can't show every single one of them. But my most favorite and most recent game is the one I'm going to show here. It's called Ant Panic AR. I've worked on it for about 1.5 years, and the game uses augmented reality, which puts virtual objects right on top of your camera feed, making it look as if it is just right there in the real world. I think Paul Hamilton will talk more about this in his AR keynote. And in Ampanakayar, you have to protect your desserts from robot ants trying to eat it by using your device as a magnifying glass and using the light beam to burn the robot ants. You just have to make sure not to burn the innocent regular ants and ladybugs, since they're trying not to take your dessert. So all you have to do is just burn the robot ants and just last as long as possible without your sweets being taken over by the robots. So I came up with this idea for this app when I was just playing around with a magnifying glass. I saw you could use it to burn things, and of course I didn't burn ants, but I decided to make a game from this concept. I've always been interested in the huge potential of augmented reality and making good use of it for unique and fun experiences. And I made this game with Unity. At the time, I knew how to use Xcode and Swift, but not Unity. Unity has a very extensive game engine, so I decided to learn Unity as well as C#. All the 3D models were made in Blender, and all the music was made by me using GarageBand. And Panic AR is available in the App Store if you want to play it. Back to the MCs.
Thank you, Yuma. That is such an innovative use of AR.
Yes, that's a really interesting app, and I'm sure we're all excited to try it out.
Jiachun, it's your turn to tell everyone about your app and what your coding journey was like.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so hi, I'm Jia Chen. So I used to be from the Swift Accelerator class of 2018. So long story short, when I started my iOS development journey in 2017, when I first started building iOS apps when I entered secondary school. So after that, I kind of got interested and was like, hey, there's this Swift Accelerator program, looks cool, let me just join it. And one thing led to another, and I built tasks as part of the program. So as Yuma said, I presented tasks to him, I think this is 3 years ago or 4. And the concept is relatively the same. So the problem we were trying to target with this app was, okay, since we were building it right after our exams, we kept getting distracted by our phones. So what if we can just put our phone face down, study, and ignore everything that's going on around us? So that's the concept of tasks. So let's say right now I would like to study for chemistry, okay? So I can create a task and say study chemistry. I can save the task, and then I can just put my phone face down and start it. So right now I can do all my chemistry and stuff, but let's say I get a notification. Okay, I really want to see this message. So I pick it up and it'll provide me with a personalized message. So these messages are actually based on the task itself. So for example, if you're doing, let's say, coding, the message will be completely different. So, okay, so like now, the message has encouraged me to, let's say, put my phone back down. So, okay, I'll put it back down. And after an hour, 45 minutes, I lift it up again. And it celebrates the fact that I managed to focus and finish it by giving me confetti and provides me with another personalized message. So, okay, so after finishing my tasks, I can browse through my frequently used tasks to quickly start another task. So if I have like a major exam coming up where I need to keep studying chemistry, I don't have to keep creating a bunch of study chemistry tasks. So then after studying a bunch, I can view my statistics over here. And so these statistics kind of help me stay on task and help to encourage me to keep on going further. Yeah. So that's about it for tasks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiachun. I'm sure your app will help everyone be more productive.
And I'm sure our audience would love to know more about all of you here. Here are some questions our wonderful audience has asked.
The first question is there anything you wish you had known before or when you first started coding? Jiachun, perhaps you could share with us more?
Okay, for me, I wish I knew more about because when I started coding, I jumped straight into Java, which is a terrible jump if you know, because it went from absolutely no knowledge to what on earth am I doing? So I wish I went to something a bit easier and more became, let's say, like Swift, because after jumping from Java to Swift, I was like, I hate Java, I love Swift because I cannot understand a word and I know what on earth I'm doing kind of thing. So that's the thing. So for me, I would just say start with something that actually like I can understand instead of jumping into something that I absolutely have no idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Jiachen. What about you, Yuma?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Just like Jiao Chen, I started with JavaScript, and yeah, I mean, if I think about it, I mean, JavaScript. When I started with JavaScript, I think uh, it was really useful for me when I made my app. But I think the hardest part for me is just if I start coding. It's a really good question. I think like because when I started coding, it was really such a challenge because there were no when I looked, I couldn't really find many resources. But you know, there's now so many. So I just really wished like when I started learning how to code, I could have other people who could I could learn with. Like I could have friends where I could just enjoy learning how to code. Of course, I still enjoyed learning coding, but I think I could have learned a lot better if I had other people to keep me company with while learning.
So, Porjai, what are the challenges you have faced during your coding journey, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so in the beginning, coding was not easy at all because I start out from zero. But because of the interest, I start to study from YouTube and various websites, including consultation with teachers, something like that. So after that, I fully study and practice the code with strong passion. Then I went to the iOS camp. The first time I entered the camp, they taught me how to write hello world in the frame, something like that. And everyone in the camp could do it except me. There was a bug, so I sat down and with it, try to solve it. I made a lot of mistake with coding and bugs. Then I get discouraged a lot, but at last I found a way to fix coding error or bugs, and finally I was capable of teaching the others in the camp to fix Swift code error. Yes. Back to MC.
Okay, thank you, Porjai.
So, what advice would you want to give people who want to learn coding? Yuma, why don't you share with us?
Sure. So first of all, I just want to say that age is not a limit. I started coding when I was 6 years old, and then I won my first scholarship for WWDC at the age of 10. So I think the evidence speaks for itself. What I'm trying to say here is that you can start coding regardless of whether or not you're 6 years old like me, or 10 or 15. You can really start coding at any time. And yeah, it's not really just limited to coding. You can do anything regardless of your age. And also, when you're coding, you will encounter a lot of bugs and problems along the way, because sometimes if you're coding, things might not just work out like immediately. So you just have to really never give up. You have to be persistent. You have to persevere, and you will find a solution regardless of how long it take. Like for me, it could take like days, or maybe like even just a few minutes. There was this one bug which took me 1 year, but that was because I just didn't like look at this specific line of code. But anyways, it can take some time, but you'll fix the problem. Anyways, other than that, you just have to follow your dreams and passions and just never give up and keep persisting.
Thank you so much for your advice, Yuma. What about you, Jiachen? What advice would you give people who want to learn coding?
So this advice is sort of inspired by YJ, which is the trainer of the Swift Accelerator program. So the advice I would give is just make really ridiculous things. So the basis is by making like very ridiculous things, it kind of motivates you to just keep trying to achieve that. And from there you kind of like slowly expose yourselves to more APIs. For example, I was tasked with fixing this app from which it was last updated like 3-4 years ago, still written in Objective C. What I decided to do was because the basis of the app is you just use your phone and take an IC photo and it automatically crops it for you. But that sounded boring. So what I wanted to do was, okay, I will put facial detection in there. I will help you crop it for you. I will help you detect your background. I will help you do a bunch of random nonsense, and it became a giant app, and I am still not done with it. But through those kinds of ways, by making a project super ridiculous, you kind of try out a bunch of different APIs. Like I had the opportunity to experiment with image processing, with machine learning, with vision. All those, even though they are vaguely related to the actual foundational idea of the app, which is take a simple IC photo that automatically crops it for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jiachen. So our next question is to Yuma. Hi, Yuma. What is your favorite coding language?
I think I can really easily say that one. I make apps, so obviously I would use Swift because that's what I use for iOS. But if I'm doing game development, just like what I used for App Panic AR, I would just use I would use Unity, and I would just go and use C Sharp, which is another programming language. But I mean, if you want me to recommend you a programming language, it's really just it depends on what you're trying to make. For me, it's Swift for apps, and then C Sharp for games.
Oh, wow, thank you, Yuma, for the recommendations. So, next, Jiachen, what was your reaction at your first app being published?
Hey, I'm not sure if y'all know about this, but for tasks, we had to go through a lot of problems with App Store review. So if I'm not wrong, we got rejected about 14 times. So we had to keep on resubmitting, but because we were the first app in the program, we had a lot of time to just keep on spamming the submissions over and over again. But eventually we managed to submit it. I think it was because of one of the external libraries that we used that had like some bug that caused it to keep crashing. Yeah.
Thanks, Jiachen. Now, Porjai, what do you think of Swift Accelerator?
Yes, it's good. Yes. So Swift Accelerator.
And how did you react at your first app being completed and published?
Okay. So my app, I'm not put my app to App Store yet, but I'm finally finished it and I will put it to App Store. For my other apps, why I'm not putting in the App Store because It's not application that can use just phone. There are another like electrical things, something like that. Yes, that join with my application. So maybe I will put this happier application to App Store, and this month, yes, next month, yes, something like that.
That's really cool. I think this app will definitely be helpful to many people. And so, adding on, what motivates you to code? Purjai, would you like to share with us?
Okay, so I already shared, but okay, I will share it again. I started writing a program, computer program, and being interested to control the light blood in the circuit when I was in the third grade. Then I practiced programming in YouTube, something like that, and start to write C, JavaScript, Python, and other language. So after that, I see that as I was writing, I am coder. I have seen many problems in a daily life of people in society. Therefore, I come up with an ideas of developing a certain technology like application to help solving this problem for better life. Yes, I like to combine the technology with the problems and make to be innovation or something like that. That is.
Okay, thank you, Purjai. So, Jiachen, what motivates you to code and develop apps?
Okay, the thing that kind of motivates me to code and develop apps is, the thing is, when developing an app, you kind of have these very high highs and very low lows. So, every time I feel like, I want to give up already, this keeps crashing, it's terrible. Like, let's say 30 minutes later, I'll be super happy and be like, oh my god, this is finally working. I cannot believe I spent 3 hours trying to debug this. So the thing that kind of keeps me going is every time that something goes terribly wrong, it suddenly gets super good at the end. And one of the things about Swift is that you can kind of get like fairly instant feedback whether your code works or not. Like you can see, oh my view is not changing color to this other color. Oh no, what happened? And then you can panic for the next 4 hours and realize you forgot a line of code in the documentation. And so it kind of like I think the thing that really keeps me going is probably just how the app development process just makes you feel very accomplished, like, oh, I managed to build this after this long of struggling, and it's quite nice, yeah.
Thank you so much, Jiachen. Now, Yuma, in your opinion, how does Swift compare to other languages like Kotlin, Java, or Python?
Ooh, I mean, it's kind of I guess, with Swift, Swift is limited to Apple devices. So, yeah, so with Swift, I guess it's the best language, at least in my opinion, for those platforms. But it's probably mostly because, I'm kind of biased towards it because, I do more app development with Apple. In terms of like, I've never really heard of Kotlin. For Java, JavaScript, and Python, I have tried out JavaScript and Python. I guess all I can really say is that they're used for different things. They're good at different things, and they have pros and cons. So if I'm making websites, I would usually use JavaScript. Python, I don't really use Python for making websites, but yeah, I just don't really use it that often. But I think what I do like about Swift, if we're comparing, is that Swift is very strongly typed, meaning that it's very safe, meaning like if something goes wrong, you know that it goes wrong. Like it's not like it can just go wrong and you just have no idea what's happening. It's quite safe as well, and it's just easy to learn as well. It's easy to understand or read, and it's very optimized for Apple devices, which is another big pro for it. So yeah, that's all I can really say.
Oh, thanks, Yuma, for your insights. So our next question is to Porjai. What other projects do you plan to embark on?
Okay, so now I start a project about the what is this called? Wait a minute. Okay, so now I've already started to make an application for help people that have problem about major depressive disorder or MDD, you know that. So this is big problems in Thai society. At my age, there have many people that have these disorders from the environment. So I think I want to help them to smile more, to have a better quality of life, something like that, because major depressive disorder is very dangerous, and there are many Thai people that have this disorder. Yes, that is.
Thank you, Porjai, for your response, and I'm sure we all think that that's a wonderful app that can help people. So, Jiachun, what other projects do you plan to embark on?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm working on the IC Photo app. Another thing that I was sort of working on off and on was also this Swift UI course, which also kind of relates back to the question that Yuma was asked. So one of the things that I kind of like about Swift is the whole Swift Playgrounds aspect, because we are able to run this entire Swift UI course on Swift Playgrounds. So it's kind of cool to experiment with the whole Playgrounds template thing and try to build course materials just purely using Playgrounds and running everything out of Swift Playgrounds. Another thing that I am on and off working on is the SST announcer, which is for my former school's announcements thing. I do not know why I'm still working on it, although I graduated, but I am still working on it because it's fun. That project I'm more of just on and off. If I feel like it and my other apps are crashing that day, I'll work on that app. And yeah, mainly I'm focusing on IC Photo and the Swift UI course now.
Thank you, Jiachun. Now, the next question is to everyone. Did you like WWDC and how was your experience in it? Yuma, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sure. I've been to WWDC 4 times, and it has changed over the years. It's really fun. I have to say that. Like the people at Apple, they're just so enthusiastic and energetic, and it's just really fun. But also you get to learn so many new things, especially since they're announcing all their new technologies. And I guess, I mean, you also get to go to labs, where you can just have a one-to-one session with all the engineers who were just behind all those technologies, and I think that's quite amazing to meet those people. And you also get to meet so many new friends, like from all over the world, and also I guess it's just really, really fun. And you get to go to Apple Park I went to Apple Park in, I think it was 2018. And yeah, it's just you get to see so many new places, Apple's headquarters. It's just there's so much stuff going on, and I just really enjoyed it.
Wow, Yuma, that sounds like a wonderful experience. So, Jiachen, what about you? How was WWDC like?
Okay, from my experience there, it was I saw WWDC as more of like a break because my schedule was I had the O-level exams right before and right after it, and right in between was WWDC itself. So I wouldn't say I was just watching it as stress relief. Yeah. So I just watched it as like a way to unwind and kind of relax. On a similar note, like fun fact, to get the jacket, it was on the same day as my O-level exam, so it was kind of rushed to try to get the package on time. And yeah. I mean, my experience wasn't really ideal because I was constantly trying to catch up with my studies and also this Swift thing, and yeah. But it was all around quite an amazing experience because I got to meet a bunch of people, although not physically, because some of the student scholars had like this virtual meetup kind of thing that we had. So that was quite an experience.
So, Porjai, what was your WWDC experience like, and did you like it?
Okay, so for this year, I was very excited and interested about it. I see a lot of station. I really like iPadOS 14 since it has more features and perks to take advantage of tablet screen, something like that. So there are any station that I'm interested in, like section about the techniques for machine learning that detects body and hands pose that can use in my application too. So teams presenting keynote very well, and I really excited and proud of myself that I won this challenge. Yes.
Thank you so much for answering the question, Porjai. And thank you to the audience for the overwhelming number of questions. However, due to interest of time, we will move on. But we will try to answer the rest of the questions online through comments later.
So, thank you, Yuma, Porjai, and Jiachen for your insightful sharings. Now, let's put our hands together to welcome Paul Hamilton, our keynote speaker for today. Paul will be sharing with us about AR and its numerous impacts and countless possibilities.
Paul is an award-winning educator, children's book author, speaker, edtech leader, developer, and augmented reality evangelist with over 10 years of experience providing immersive technology solutions to empower educators and businesses.
Hello and welcome and g'day from Australia. So I'm beaming in from a beautiful place in Australia, which is called Queensland, and we're on the east coast of Australia. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to speak today. I have been blown away and truly inspired by what I've heard already. I'm a 48-year-old, so if there's any people watching this today that are about my age, it's great to know that we can also learn something new every day as well. So hopefully we're not just speaking to the youth, and they're so inspiring what we've heard today from our young developers, but also speaking to us that maybe are thinking about jumping into coding or development, and even at my age, we can learn something new, which is super exciting. Yes, so I've got a very diverse background, but my last 10 years or so, 7 to 10 years, has been really passionate about augmented reality. And we've already seen some amazing applications that have been developed in the AR space so far, which is absolutely amazing. Personally, I've been exploring and experimenting with AR and how it can be used in an educational context. But I'm starting to learn that AR is being used in other industries across the world, from commerce to the arts to engineering and science. My background is I'm a primary school teacher. So my heart and soul is a teacher, and I was lucky enough to create a children's picture book when I was about 5 or 6 years ago about coding concepts that I wanted my little learners to know and understand simple coding concepts as well. So it was really, really interesting. And what I found was when I first published If I Were a Wizard as a traditional picture book, I had a really good reception. So people really loved it, and they kind of connected the coding concepts to the storyline. And that was really, really exciting. A couple of years later, I decided to recreate the story in augmented reality. I decided to create a portal where teachers and students could place a portal in their classroom or in the library and actually walk into the augmented reality space, meet Hazel and all the characters from the book, and explore what was happening in the story through augmented reality. And what I discovered was augmented reality tells stories very, very differently to traditional means. So it allowed my students to walk right over to that waterfall. It allowed my students to search and be curious about the story and to find things that other students didn't find. It allowed them to be immersed in augmented reality and the sounds, the flutter of butterflies, the walking of Hazel, the noise that a waterfall made in the ocean. But most of all, it allowed my students to actually discover and to walk and to search, which is a lot different than when they were reading a text and images book. So that was incredibly exciting to allow my stories to come to life through augmented reality. And what it did is it offered a new experience, an enhanced experience that brought in the sounds and the sights and the movement of what augmented reality actually brings to the user. So what is AR? And we've heard people talk about it today. And I like to kind of teach people about AR by saying, how is it different from virtual reality? So virtual reality, you guys know, is about putting on those headsets, totally disconnecting from the world, isolating yourself and completely immersing yourself in the digital world. Well, AR is completely different. And I always see AR as the opposite, because what it's doing is it's connecting the digital to the physical space that we live in. And so that connection, I don't think we've ever seen a more important moment in time where we need to connect the digital and the physical. The remote learning that we're doing at the moment, our isolation because of the pandemic, it's never become more important to connect the digital with the physical world that we live in. And so what does that do? Well, that provides you young developers with an amazing opportunity to teach the world, to teach people about the world that we live in. You can actually hold that iPad up into the stars and see different solar systems and see different astronomy and see the different cultural digital storytelling that people have thought about through the years over campfires and through storytelling. But we can do that through augmented reality, which is a fantastic opportunity to build empathy. And I've certainly seen so many apps today where you started with designing with people in mind and to help the world. And you should be commended developers for doing that, building with empathy. And augmented reality gives us that opportunity to do that. So if you do a search right now on your phones or on your iPads for AR apps, you will see that an incredible explosion of augmented reality has happened in the last 12 to 18 months. And what we're seeing are not just one kind of augmented reality app, but we're seeing different kinds of augmented reality apps. It all started with the explosion of Pokemon Go, but now it's developed into engineering and science and measurement and anatomy and biology and digital training and looking up at the stars and seeing the night sky and being able to measure a wall so that we can work out how much paint we need to actually paint it. So that explosion in augmented reality apps is really a great opportunity to see what people are actually developing in that space. And that's super exciting to actually go through that and to see what's happening in that space going forward. So let's take a look at across industry and where is AR flourishing? Well, the biggest one is in retail and commerce. You will see by industries like IKEA and Shopify, you will see that we can now, before we buy something, place a digital item in our own room. So this is the IKEA app, and I was looking for a sound system the other day, and I was wondering what would look great on my little welcome desk. And so I can place that in the space and see how it looks in regard to my space. And statistics and the data says that if you've got a website that allows you to see augmented reality products in your house, then that product has a 94% better chance of being purchased by that person. What an amazing opportunity in the retail and e-commerce space for augmented reality. Now, Reality Composer is a free app for Mac and also iPad and iPhone, and this is where I spend all of my time. This is where I can prototype and actually show people what I'm thinking in my mind, because we speak in pictures. Sometimes if I'm describing my project idea with someone, they just don't get it. So by quickly prototyping in Reality Composer, I can show them in augmented reality within seconds or minutes, more likely minutes, I can show them what I had in mind. And so that ability to speak in pictures and to visualize my ideas from concept to product is really easy in Reality Composer. We're also seeing an explosion of AR across the tourism market. So this is a little product that I designed for a local council, where we took those boring old information boards that you find when you go on holiday destinations, and I included an AR version where we can actually visualize what are the different marine life that are at the ocean and a little bit more of what we can see as well. It also comes with some audio. And so spatial audio is incredibly powerful because we're designing products for all. We all believe in the importance of accessibility. And so what augmented reality does is it allows you to also include narration and sound and audio for those that struggle with visual impairments as well. We've also seen an amazing development in the training. So no longer do I have to go into a workshop and learn how to change or engineer, for example, cars. I can do all of this in the comfort of my own home. I can interact with that car in my living room or in my bedroom, and I can learn and I can train across industries, which is incredibly exciting when it comes to training in the augmented reality area. With the development of LiDAR, which is now found in the new iPad Pros and all of the new iPhones, I can now capture the world. I can scan my house and I can create 3D models incredibly quickly, which also provides amazing opportunities across different industries. You can see here some of the training and what we can do in the engineering and the science area is really quite exciting. And we've also got amazing developments in the health and medical space. This application here tracks the body and tracks the different limbs of the body to help self-correct posture, which can be a fantastic addition to your way of recuperating from pain and rehabilitation, or it can really help to stop you from getting bad posture to start with. And that looks at things like body tracking technology combined with augmented reality as we go forward. But my passion is education and teaching. And if you're developing an application for the education sector, I'm going to give you a little tip. Create augmented reality that lets your students and teachers develop their own augmented reality. This is one of the most successful AR apps called AR Maker. And it is a free app that schools around the world are absolutely loving because it allows 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds to create their own augmented reality experience. And it allows students and teachers to do a range of different things, like, let's take a subject like health and physical education. It allows AR to come into that space, and teachers can teach students about gameplay and strategy in basketball games and a whole range of different things. It also allows students to create their own digital storytelling, like this beautiful little comic that was created in AR Maker of Snoopy. And it allows all of a sudden students to create comics and digital stories with depth and layers as well. We're also seeing students and teachers really make an impact, like as a stimulus for discussion and some really important concepts that we're dealing with in the year of 2021, and create all of those different stimuluses going forward. We've also seen AR and students create as a way of demonstrating, say, water cycle. How does the water cycle work? Or food webs. And our students are now creating their own augmented reality to demonstrate knowledge and understanding across science and across history concepts, which is really, really exciting to see our students being involved in augmented reality, even historical recounts as well. So there's a range of different areas, but one of my favorite areas is advertising. And we're now seeing students and teachers think about how can we make advertising come to life, like this ad for seafood, and actually taking some of the elements out of it and animating it and make that advertisement pop. So we're seeing so many great things come out of so many different industries across both education, science, e-commerce and retail, right across. So my last point to you, and certainly I'm speaking to the young developers that are listening right now, what magic will you create with augmented reality? Thanks. Back to the MCs.
Thank you, Paul, for your wonderful presentation. Moving on, now we would like to congratulate the Swift Accelerator class of 2020 for successfully completing this course and releasing their apps on the App Store. That's incredible. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. COVID-19 made everything so much more difficult for us. But isn't there a saying that good things don't come easy? In the end, we persevered and made it through, and we still learned so much. Not just about coding, but also how to be resilient. Surely all those hours of coding, brainstorming, and debugging paid off. And to congratulate the class of 2020 for their graduation, we have a message from a very special guest, Senior Minister of State for Communications and Information, Ms. Siman.
Hello everyone. Congratulations on successfully completing the Swift Accelerator Program 2020. I know that it's been 8 months of hard work on your part and that of your project partners, and I can only imagine how exciting it must be to conceptualize, design, code, and finally publish your own iOS app. This is a program that we hope can excite more young people to learn coding and also to put their ideas about making a difference to the community around them into action through the creation of apps. And I hope that all of you have had a very enjoyable experience doing this, and that you will also be recommending this to your friends and juniors. Most importantly, the very fact that you're on this program shows that you have not only keen interest in IT, but also skills. And these skills will stand you in good stead as we move forward to form a digitalized society. I also hope that you will use your skills to help others also get on board digitalization. So once again, congratulations to all of you. And please also take this opportunity to thank all those who have supported you along this journey. And I hope that you will be able to share your love of coding as well as the digital world with more friends and also your family members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Sim, for your inspiring speech.
Wow, I can hardly believe we've already graduated. And we got our certificates last week, remember?
Yep, it feels so surreal that we've actually completed our class. So join me, everyone, as we present to you the Swift Accelerator Program Class of 2020.
Let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor for today, Ms. Ko Lina, Assistant Chief Executive of IMDA. We are honored to have Ms. Ko here with us to present the certificates to the Swift Accelerator Program Class of 2020. To start off, we have the app Grocery. Grocery is able to track your fridge contents and check for their expiry, and it also auto-generates a shopping list based on your previous shopping trips and food in the fridge. Grocery was created by Qin Jianwen, Erman Zefferi, Joshua Lim Zhe Kai, and Leroy Hong J. Yang from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore. Next, we have the app Wishy. This budgeting app helps young adults keep track of their monthly income, budget, expenses, and savings, and aids the user in making responsible and reasonable choices. Wishy was created by Joe Wong, Granwin Tan, Adam Tan, and Bryden T. from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore. Here we have the app Footprint. Footprint is an app that allows students within the Raffles Institution campus to trace their footsteps as they move about the campus. The app is intended to help students find missing belongings easily by having an easily acceptable history of where they have been. This app was created by Wang Yingze, Hang Zizhou, and Pujara Vihan Tarak from Raffles Institution. Vihan is unable to join us today. Next, we have the app StudyFly. StudyFly converts notes written on paper into text on your phone and displays the definition of words, making the note-taking process more seamless and enjoyable. This app was created by Nicole Lee, and Kendra Pang Xing Hui from Raffles Girls' School, and Zhang Hongliang from Swift Cottage Secondary School. Our next app is called McRitchie Trails. This app allows users to explore McRitchie with information about the various routes and places of interest, while simultaneously displaying their current location. McRitchie Trails was created by Darius Cole Kai Kiet, Joelle Lin Xuan Wei, and Seng Kei Kang Jerick from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore.
Here, we have the productivity app Habitat. Habitat helps users be productive by requiring them to put their phones face down, and users can gain experience points to grow trees after completing a task. This app was created by Jiang Tongyu and Ju Xiangqi from Raffles Girls' School, and Che Wei Hong Oliver and Lim Jianrong Oliver from Edgefield Secondary School.
Last but not least, we have the app KillStep. This captivatingly fun game encourages users to walk a healthy amount of steps every day. KillStep was created by Selvakumar Srinivadasan from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore, Sud Tapan from Clementi Town Secondary School, Chan Xing Lin Adrian from Raffles Girls' School, and Chiu Han Tian from Woodgrove Secondary School.
Let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor for today, Ms. Rachel Ong, Head of Enterprise and Education for South Asia at Apple. We are honored to have Ms. Ong here with us to present the certificates to the Swift Accelerator program, class of 2020. Starting off, we have EnviroQuest. EnviroQuest is a fun quest app with a storytime format that promotes environmental awareness and helps the user, with gems and badges as incentives, to complete quests. EnviroQuest was created by Kiara Nadine, Manta Akshara, Rachel Goh, and Shu Injia from Raffles Girls' School. Next, we have Cat Mystery. Cat Mystery is a game that makes chemistry fun for upper primary and lower secondary students. It has sections with information about different topics and mini-games with interactive elements. Cat Mystery was created by Neil Hao Jin from Hwa Chong Institution. Wang Zerui from NUS High School of Mathematics and Science. Chanel Tan, and Ryu Huina from Nanyang Girls High School.
Our next step is BusSG. BusSG is a very useful travel app that helps you find the latest information regarding bus arrivals and departures, using data from the LTA to show the most accurate information about buses. BusSG was created by Ryan Theodore The, Carl Steven, Chua Weda, and Xavier Koh from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore. We also have the app Recipely. Recipely assists you in finding recipes just right for you, according to your dietary preferences, allergies, and preferred diets, while also gauging how healthy your recipe is. Recipely was created by Fabian Lowe, and Lim Ming Shin from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore. Nicholas Johansson and Thirumaran Kaushik Manian from Tampines Secondary School. The next step is Fridge. This app helps users record what they have in their fridge, allowing them to enter the expiry dates of their food and receive notifications when their food is about to expire or has expired. Fridge was created by So Zedong and Wong Yuyan from Dunman High School. And Shanjit Pranov and Wong Le Yang from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore. Next, we have the app Trip Planner. Trip Planner assists users in planning for their vacations and staycations and allows users to organize their trips, plan out their itinerary, keep track of their budget, and ready their packing list. Trip Planner was created by Kensley Leong and Yu Yo Yo from Nanyang Girls High School. Nicole Tang from Ngee Secondary School, and Rochelle Tay from Temasek Junior College. Next, Pro Health. Pro Health has 4 functions. Firstly, there is a map that tracks your location, a stopwatch, a BMI calculator, and a step tracker that also tracks how many kilometers you have ran or cycled and your current speed. This app was created by Abhipraya Mandal from Edgefield Secondary School. And last but not least, we have the app Anything. Anything is a calming meditation app that helps you to unwind and relax, and it can be used as a timer with inspirational quotes as well. Anything was created by Ho John Yu from the School of Science and Technology, Singapore, but he's unfortunately not able to join us today. Thank you, Ms. Rachel Ong, for coming down for our graduation ceremony.
You have found this summit interesting and inspiring, and we can't wait to have more of you join the journey.
Briefing happening on 6th February from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. at tk.sg/SWIFT2021 briefing. If you're already excited to sign up for the SWIFT Accelerator program, class of 2021, you can sign up at tk.sg/SWIFT2021 application. Once again, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Akshara. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon.